Let's get started. We're going to talk a little bit about why email is maybe not quite the communication platform that it used to be when it first dropped. And to do that, we're talking to Nate Coyle. He's an enterprise account executive at Front. Nate, thank you so much for joining us today on At Your Doorstep.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And I'm also jealous of the Roomba. I think that sounds like a great gift.
You know, cleaning my floors is like one of the banes of my existence, but also so is opening my inbox. I'm one of those people where I would much rather receive communications through Slack or text, and getting into email kind of is a little bit daunting for me. But you guys at Front are trying to change that and make email more of a collaborative platform. Tell me a little bit about Front and what you guys are trying to accomplish there.
Yeah. So Front is a customer communication hub. And there's a few reasons why we exist and why we've been growing quite rapidly over the past few years. Firstly, I'll take your point about enjoying text messages and Slacks a lot more than emails. I'm in the same boat. Your email inbox used to be the place you went to have anxiety and dig through the hundreds of messages to find what's important. And that's actually not changing. So despite the proliferation of real-time chat tools, Slack, Microsoft Teams, SMS, email is still growing at about a 10% clip year over year. And importantly, email is still the way that you talk to your customers. So our customers come to us and say, hey, email's not going away. It's actually growing. It's a preferred mode of communication. And we have to actually embrace that if we're going to have a competitive advantage. So what we do is we take the Outlook email client, or if you guys are using Gmail, that's fine too, and we transform that email client into a revenue generating platform. So that's what Front does is we take the easy to use, familiar interface of email. So if you have your folders and your calendar and your contact book the way that you like in Outlook, we transform that into Front with very little onboarding or kind of training necessary. And then we superpower that inbox with functions like automatic assignments, prioritization, and then what we call SLAs or response time goals to make sure your messages don't slip through the cracks. So we have customers like MNX Global Logistics, Estes, EFW, and many more that basically come to us and say, hey, we have all these quotes. We tell our customers we want to get back to them via email in 10 minutes. We want to use Front to make sure that that's possible and even speed up those response times and get back to customers faster.
And so with traditional email clients, you of course have the ability to filter out certain buzzwords, or if they know that it's coming from an automated client, you can say, hey, send this straight to junk, whatever like that. So you're saying that Front is kind of in that, but a little bit more specialized, and you can kind of tweak it to your specific needs. Say, if you need to be responding to a client asking for a quote on a load within 5 minutes, they can do that, and you can set up that automation process.
Yeah, so email does have some automation available to put things in folders, that sort of thing, filing messages away. But it's really a single player function, first of all. So you can kind of filter things out in your own inbox, but that doesn't help your team. So if you have a team of hundreds of people that are all getting the same types of messages through being CC'd or BCC'd or on a distribution list, then every time multiple people read a message that is irrelevant for them or not necessary, that's wasted time. That's lost productivity. And with Front, what we do is we make those workflow rules happen at the team level, first of all, and then secondly, just like you said, we supercharge them with more possibilities. So you can have a VIP response time goal. You can have automatic assignments of certain types of messages based on the subject, the body, the sender, attachments, the quote number, the shipment location. All these sorts of automations that are not possible in Outlook become possible within Front.
And so talk to me a little bit about the process of getting signed up with Front and how long that takes. Is it easy? Is it something that's going to add more stress to my life if I want to do that for my team?
Yeah, that's a great question. Change management is probably the biggest hurdle when it comes to adopting a system like Front.
Mm.
And I've heard from customers in the logistics space that we don't want to ask our teammates to change. They've been using Outlook or they've been using Gmail for sometimes decades at this point. So they have decades worth of history, muscle memory, and folders, all that good stuff that help them talk to their customers. So even though the email inboxes are exploding and there's lots of messages to work with, that kind of comfort of knowing how to use your inbox sometimes can make the transition hard to use something new. What we've done with Front is we really sit on top of your email infrastructure like a skin and tell that email client, whether it's Outlook or whatever else, what to do. And by that virtue, everything that you're doing in Front syncs back through Outlook. And every single function that you're used to, sending messages, putting messages in folders automatically, your contacts, your calendar, everything is kind of the same as you have it set up in Outlook to make the transition as smooth as possible. So what we like to say is for, let's say, a 200 user implementation of Front, it might take somewhere between 1 to 3 months to get fully up and running. And all of that is around, setting up your workflow rules. So assigning messages to the right people, setting up your response time goals, and that sort of kind of admin director level decisions that need to be made. For the end user training part, it just takes about a day. So as long as like this button works in Outlook, okay, now it's that button in Front. That part takes about a day, and then people pick it up very fast.
That's awesome. And you guys actually have a tech demo that you're going to be doing with us here later on in our virtual event. Last question before you head out for the day. What is your favorite feature of Front? What really just makes you excited about working for them?
Well, I will tell you my favorite feature is calendar automation. I'm scheduling meetings and working with folks all day, so I use Front to schedule meetings where it would take maybe 10 minutes to offer times and look at everyone's calendar. That function took 10 minutes in the past. Now it takes about 15 seconds in Front. So I love that feature. But overall, I would say I've been with the company for 4 years. We've had really, really explosive growth. I was the 20th employee here. Now we're close to 300 employees. We've been more than doubling every year. And the one thing that gives me confidence and makes me excited about working here is that the product team and the engineering is truly world class. We have customers that say, "Hey, it would be really cool if Front could do something like track our customer satisfaction scores." This is the actual example that happened last quarter. And 3 months later, the customer satisfaction tracking is now part of the product. So the feedback is taken and worked into the product with a world class engineering team. And as long as that keeps up, I'm sure the future is bright.
Getting that feedback and then the automatic response is just the name of the game. If people want to learn a little bit more about you guys, where should they go to check it out?
Go to frontapp.com. You can request a demo or look at some of the content there. There's tons of great stories and demos and videos to check out.
Awesome, Nate. Thank you so much again for joining us today.